Here we go, episode 145 of The Hardline. Michael Merlo, John Michael Masiri, here with you. A very, very exciting Sunday of football. Very exciting with the only postseason. A lot of great things happening in sports. You had a crazy weekend in college football as well with all those upsets. So overall, crazy sports weekend. The NFL was great. A good Monday night game tonight, too. Is that one of your picks this week? One of your stars?
It is the Saints. The Saints are my 3-star.
Wow, that's a risky pick. So JM will be heavily involved with the Monday night game tonight. So overall, a very fun week in the NFL, unless your team traveled to London and wears green. JM, how are you today?
Yeah, nice segue there, bro. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm good, man. You know, as you could see from the hat, I'm trying to cope, and the Yankees are playing playoff baseball tonight. So, you know, when this airs, hopefully I'll be in a really good mood. But I'm doing good, bro. You know, you mentioned the college football upsets, and we didn't really talk much about it, but, like, did you see that thing that they carried the goalpost?
Yeah. And
2.5 miles?
And Vanderbilt got fined $100K for that.
Go right ahead.
You get fined for that, apparently.
The money they're making off that win, that's not
like a first offense, it's only like $100,000. I think the next time it keeps going up, so hopefully they have another upset and the fine goes up.
College football's a no-fun league, too, now.
Apparently.
I mean, you know, what's the big deal? You carry a little goalpost, walk down the street,
right,
throw it in the river.
Yeah. Right.
We've all been there.
Yeah, you destroy property.
Exactly.
You cause chaos in the street.
It's nothing.
But it's no problem.
The fish must have been real, if they even have fish in that river.
Is there a video of them actually throwing it in the river?
Yes.
I didn't see that.
Oh, yes. It's fully in the river. But they were just, swimming around and, here's a goalpost.
Well, they don't know it's a goalpost.
I think fish know ball.
Oh, you think so?
I think so.
They know more ball than some people, that's for sure.
Very true.
Very excited to get started here. We're going to start with, I think, the game of the week, which was the Ravens and the Bengals. Before we do get started, just want to remind you, please make sure you're liking and subscribing to the channel on YouTube, liking, rating, downloading our episodes on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We always appreciate the support and the feedback. And, of course, checking out our social media pages weekly as well. JM, the game of the week, unbelievable game. It went back and forth. And I want to say this might be a really bold statement, and I have absolutely no evidence to back it up whatsoever. But I think this was Lamar's true MVP style game. Like, I don't think Lamar played a game the way he played yesterday at any point last season.
Well, I was going to say that, and I thought this is where you were going. That might have been the best game of Lamar's career.
Okay.
And that's one of those things that I may be forgetting a couple of games, but I mean, I can't remember a time passing when he had such a great game like that. I believe, what was it, against Miami back a couple years ago? He threw 5 touchdowns.
But they lost that game.
They ended up losing that game. Tua went off that game as well. I know he's had a couple 5-touchdown games in his career, but I mean, 26 for 42 for 348 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions, and then add another 55 on the ground. I mean, both the quarterback play in this game was incredible. It was the opposite of what you think of when you think of an NFC North matchup. You usually think of a gritty, kind of ugly style of play. Low scoring, especially. I mean, you had almost 80 combined points in this game. So it certainly was not an ugly game. For defenses, it was an ugly game. But yeah, Mike, I mean, Lamar just looked incredible.
Yeah, he was incredible. You got to give credit to Joe Burrow. You mentioned him. We'll talk about them in a second. But in terms of, like, what Lamar had to deal with yesterday, okay, first of all, he's still throwing to wide receivers, right? Zay Flowers, we have our opinions on Flowers. We don't think he's a 1. And he had a very, very nice day against this Bengals defense. This tight end here, Collar.
Yeah.
Charlie Carler. I just wanted to get his first name right. Scores a touchdown at 64 yards yesterday. Yeah. Okay, he ended up throwing the ball to Andrews a little bit yesterday. Good for the fantasy owners.
Yeah, hell yeah, on my bench.
But it's like, look at these guys that he's throwing to, and then let's add that Henry didn't really do anything yesterday. He had the big long run. Otherwise, he's 14 carries for 41 yards yesterday. Yeah. Lamar's carrying this team. And they find a way to come back and win. Give credit to the defense for intercepting Burrow on that last drive of the second to last drive of the Bengals game. The Bengals had. JM, it's an impressive win for a team that basically puts the Bengals completely out of contention in this division.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you could do that to a team, it's great, especially when it's one of your biggest rivals, maybe your biggest rival. I mean, coming into the year, the Bengals thinking, oh, we got to defend our division title. The Ravens thinking we got to defend our division title. I think the Bengals were probably on the top of their mind when it comes to teams to worry about in that division. The Steelers are another team. We could talk about them at another point, that gross-ass game, weather-wise and everything else. But this was a true, Lamar saying, hey, I'm a two-time MVP for a reason. And everybody keeps talking about, oh, is it Mahomes or is it Josh Allen? Who's the best quarterback in the league? Hello, is anybody going to talk about me? And rightfully so. I got to say, the one thing, we're talking about the Ravens right now, but the Bengals, they should be embarrassed for what they did to get that ball back in overtime and only need a little bit to kick that field goal and not get there, and then rely on Evan McPherson to hit that long field goal with a botched hold, really. The hold was just horrible. But, you could blame that on the kicking team if you're a Bengals fan to cope if you want. And, the kicking team should have executed, but you're still expecting a 50-plus yard field goal to win the game. When you get the ball in that position, you got to get 10, 15 yards to get closer. It was just an embarrassment.
No, it was bad play calling as well. Burrow plays well enough to win this game. He throws the really bad interception late in the fourth, but they played well enough. The defense, is such a problem. Yeah. And they just lost, I think, Daxon Hill. Yeah. I'm pretty sure for the year now. He tore his ACL. So they just have so many injuries in that secondary. They're not playing well defensively. This thing is not going to get better. I think they're just going to continue to spiral here. And again, you're playing in a tough division. It's not as good as I think anybody. It's clearly not as good of a division that people thought it was going to be heading into the season. No. Now with the Bengals struggling and the Steelers coming back to earth and Deshaun Watson being the worst player in the league, it's really not the division anybody thought.
No, it's not.
But
that's
a clear class of the division.
Yeah, the defense. Coming in, we were saying, this is a defense that's sort of overachieved for what you see on paper over the years. And while that is true, there were still some pieces over the years that have come off of this defense. Obviously, Jesse Bates is the first person you think of. But, at some point, we really should have sat down, looked at this defense, and been like, why? Why are people around the NFL expecting this to be a really good defense? What is it, the power of friendship? What are we expecting out of this defense? Yes, obviously, you look around the league, there are defenses that maybe don't match up well compared to other teams when it comes to personnel, but they overachieve because of scheme, because of chemistry, because of whatever. Minnesota is the first team I think of. Denver got the second best defense in the NFL right now, which is nuts. And they don't have
Denver Broncos.
And they don't have all these huge standout players on their defense, but at some point, it's going to catch up to you. And with the Bengals, it's catching up to them big time.
It is. And Lou Anarumo, I think I'm pronouncing the defensive coordinator's name wrong.
I'm not sure. Lou Amarillo?
No. Yeah. That's my guy.
Yeah.
The defensive coordinator for the Bengals, who is a hot name in terms of head coaching opportunities the last few years. Not going to be getting a job here with this defense. Again, it's terrible. And I look at the offensive side of things for this team, and not to say that this is the problem, because the last few weeks they have put up points and they have given their team a chance to win. But look at their situation on offense. You have Burrow back and seemingly healthy, right? I think it's better to have a two-headed monster than a one-headed monster at running back, and Chase Brown and Zach Moss are, I think, a good two-back set here. And then I'd rather two than one in terms of Mixon.
Yeah, but no.
You'd rather Mixon
Joe Mixon is but I understand what you're saying, but Joe Mixon is a very clear step ahead of those two running backs. Joe Mixon is a very good running back. I would rather have Joe Mixon than Chase Brown and Zach Moss being okay, two mid guys that complement each other versus a workhorse back. I'd rather have the workhorse back.
He was getting up there in age. We saw the decline a little bit while he was there. I think Brown, a younger player, can turn into something more as the season goes on, I think he's getting more snaps.
More
he's
than
getting
what
more
Mixon
chances.
was his last season?
No, but then when you add the fact that there's another guy behind him and Brown continues to get better, then I'll take the chance on that.
I think Chase Brown could complement Joe Mixon like he did over last season. I think that is better than a perfect split between the two. I think having your workhorse back and then a guy like Chase Brown coming in third down scenarios and being that pass catcher and change of pace kind of guy is better than, we're going to give Chase Brown some goal line work. And Chase Brown's been good. Not discrediting Chase Brown. But I'm still a fan of having one elite running back.
Regardless, the offensive situation's still very good here. I mean, the offensive line is better than it's been in years. You have an offensive coach. Really good weapons on the outside still. Even have a tight end now in Gesicki he likes to go to.
Yeah.
This isn't good, Mike. 1-4. They're not going to make the playoffs. Upset alert again this week against the Giants.
I'm going to stop you there.
Yeah. You think there's a chance? There's a chance they make the playoffs?
I'm not giving up on the Bengals to make the playoffs.
Let's go through the schedule.
Yeah, sure. I wrote it down, Mike.
Oh, you have it.
Next 4 games.
Okay.
At the Giants, at the Browns, home against the Eagles, home against the Raiders. That is easily they could go 3-1 in that span.
All right, that's fair. I could see 3-1.
All of a sudden now you're back. You're 3-5 if they go 4-0. Obviously.
No, you're 4-5 there.
Yeah, sorry.
You're
4-5. If you go 4-0, you're 5-4.
Okay, so through the next 4 games, they
that's
could get
easier
to
said than done.
4-5. All right,
they could be 4-5, and I mean, look at the AFC right now. I mean, we were joking off camera. We'll talk about it in a little bit. The Jets have a chance to play for first place on Monday Night Football, and they're 2-3.
Right.
The AFC is very tight right now. You have no team in the NFL is winless now. Everybody's got to win. You got 2 undefeated teams left, which is pretty good when one of them could get their first loss of the season by the time this airs in the Chiefs. And we're only at the end of week 5 here. So it's really tight. The wild card race, I think you're going to see a lot of teams at 9-8 getting in. And who knows what could happen with the division for the Bengals too. You got the Steelers are on their way down. The Ravens drop a couple games. They play the Ravens in a couple of weeks after that Raiders game in week 9, I believe. Mm-hmm. That game could have a lot different meaning. And
the next 4 games, they sound promising. You have to go out there and win. And we've seen, a lot of times in this league, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who you're playing, right?
Yep.
Right now, if the season ended today, they got the 2nd overall pick.
Yep.
So it's like, yeah, there's a chance, and you're not giving up. I would give up.
I'm not giving up. So the odds are stacked against them.
Yeah.
I would, if I was a betting man, and I am a betting man, I would not put my money on the Bengals to make the playoffs. That being said, if they got back in the hunt, I would also not be surprised.
Sunday Night Football against the Giants is going to be a big game for them. That's a big game for them. And for the G-Men to get back to 500. We're going to talk about the G-Men later on.
Got to be over. I actually expect a high number.
Now I do with the way the Giants have scored some points.
Mike, I'm talking like 49.5, 50.5 number I'm expecting.
Wow.
I know that's bold, but I mean, look at the way the Bengals defense has been playing and look at how the Giants have been playing offensively.
Yeah, Giants defense has been pretty good too. Yeah. We're going to talk about the Giants. We're going to talk about them. So you brought up Lamar and where he ranks. I think he's 3rd right now. I think he's earned the chance to be the 3rd guy in terms of quarterback rankings.
I think he's earned the chance to be the 2nd guy in the quarterback ranking. I mean, seriously, like this is... I was thinking about it today. Over Josh Allen.
But we were just talking about Josh Allen being better possibly than Mahomes 2 weeks ago.
Well, how about this? And I think he deserves a chance to be over Mahomes. If we're just talking like, hey, for fun, statistically and all that stuff, I think he deserves to be all the way at the top of the hill. If we're talking, give me this guy to win a Super Bowl, obviously the guy who has 3 Super Bowl rings in Patrick Mahomes. But this is what I don't understand with the whole Josh Allen and Lamar comparisons. And I know I've been supportive of Josh Allen being the 2nd best quarterback in the league, but I sort of had like a wake-up call today.
You're out as an Allen guy. I'm the only Allen guy here now.
No, but I'm like, why is it that we give Josh Allen this treatment as like, oh, Mahomes, you're not alone. This guy, Josh Allen's great. When Lamar's, got 2 MVPs. Allen's got none. Lamar's had just as much playoff success or playoff lack of success than Josh Allen has, if you want to talk about that. He's been a better regular season quarterback when it comes to winning. He's been a better regular season quarterback when it comes to overall numbers. He's got a better career passer rating. Like I mentioned, the MVP awards. He's got a better record. He's got, better numbers on the ground. The passing touchdowns are similar. He's got less interceptions. Like, I'm just confused now of why we're putting Allen on this pedestal. And Lamar's kind of like, oh, has he earned the right to be a top 3 quarterback? Hell yeah. And I think he deserves to be over Josh Allen.
I can't get there over Josh Allen. I get the MVPs. I mean, I really think last year, I don't agree with it. Yeah, he's the MVP. Fine. He adds a second one to his leisure. Great. But I think with Allen, right, first of all, in the big games, other than that Cincinnati game, which he lost, Allen has performed well in these postseason games. And when they lose, for the most part, outside that game was terrible. It hasn't been his fault, right? Yeah. It's been, and we've spoke about this. It's been at the fault of the defense or the coaching most times. That's number one. Number two, I think, we look at Lamar's situation. Lamar's been the reason why they've lost a lot of these games. Lamar has not stepped up in the big moments in the postseason. But regardless, a loss is a loss, and Josh Allen nor Lamar Jackson are getting the job done going far into the postseason. But the one thing I will say about Allen is that I think now we need to start having we'll have the conversation, and maybe they'll do the same thing they did last season, and they'll, stabilize this thing. But I think they have a problem with the coach. I mean, I think McDermott's a problem.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Lamar Jackson never has to worry about that. I mean, his coach, we talked about him being the longest tenured coach outside of Tomlin. I mean, Harbaugh is a staple. He's great. Never have to worry about game management and things like that. Allen's dealt with a lot of turmoil. He's dealt with a lot of coaching changes. Either his offensive coordinator gets fired or he gets them hired. So I think a lot has gone into it. And I think Allen, when you watch him play, I think in terms of dominance, I think he is the second best guy.
I don't know. I just think, like we talk about all the time, the fact that the Ravens have never given this guy a number one receiver still. And, talk to me about, he's a running style quarterback. I mean, Josh Allen is too. Do I think that Lamar Jackson at the end of the day has better arm talent than Josh Allen? No, but I think it's close. Like, Lamar Jackson, his ability to throw on the run and the escapability and stuff, and I know that relates to his legs, but the accuracy on the run, he's got a very accurate. He throws a very nice football. He's very accurate. Josh Allen obviously has the throw power and all, and Allen's got that build, right? Like, I think sometimes when we think about Josh Allen, we just love everything about him. The fact that he's like a physical specimen and he makes all these crazy Superman-like plays. Lamar can do that too, in a shiftier, less powerful way than the way Josh Allen does. But I think when we look at the numbers and we kind of say, all right, let me reflect back on their career so far, just like I did, I'm like, why are we not talking about? So
you're starting a franchise right now. You would rather Lamar Jackson than Josh Allen? Because I think another reason as to why I think Lamar hasn't had the respect that I think you're saying he deserves, and I'm now coming around on, is that a lot of people, and rightfully so, even though he's kind of proven it wrong, have been worried about whether or not he would be able to sustain his play style and not get injured. And, he's been banged up.
I think Josh Allen, that should be more of a concern for him than Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson isn't taking these huge hits. Obviously, the build, Allen's maybe built to be a little more durable because he's such a big guy. But, I mean, Josh Allen is doing somersaults into the end zone and trying to truck linebackers. Like, that's a real thing.
Yeah, I think Allen...
I'd be more worried about his play style.
See, he definitely has to calm down with that. And over time, he's not going to continue to do that. But, I mean, I think Lamar's build, I mean, he's super slippery, but he's a skinny guy. And, listen, I watch that guy, and I'm watching him play, and whenever he runs and takes a hit, I sit there and say, how does anybody rooting for this team not get nervous every single time he gets hit? Yeah, it's honestly it's remarkable.
It's truly a toss-up for me for who I would pick to start a franchise.
I think for me, it's definitely still Allen. They're basically the same age, 27, 28 years old. Both Jackson's 27, Allen's 28. I would still go with Allen. I think it's closer than you think. I am of the belief still that it's, it's Mahomes, it's Allen, and then there's like everybody else, and Lamar's at the top of everybody else.
Nope.
That's how I see it.
Nope.
Mike, should Zach Taylor be on the hot seat? Or is this not his problem? And
I mean, it's, obviously the head coach has to take a big chunk of the responsibility. It's the defense. I don't know, you have the locker room problems coming into the year, supposedly just the noise with the Chase contract talks and all those things. But, we're not inside that building. Who knows actually what the vibe is in that locker room? At the end of the day, this is all stuff that the media is just assuming and talking about. And you can't blame them. Usually when there's drama creates more drama. But I mean, it's weird. Like the Bengals, I don't know if it's on Zach Taylor, if it's on Joe Burrow, if it's on everybody, what it's on, but they've had this trend where they just can't get off to good starts. And some starts have been bad and some starts have been worse. They've gone 3 straight years starting off at least 0-2. This has obviously been the worst start out of all of them at 1-4. But I don't know what is going on in that building, but they just cannot seem to play seamless football in the beginning of the season.
See, and I hate that because if me and you did our job and we're like, listen, guys, new year starts in January. I'm not going to be good for the first 2 months of the year. I'm going to be really poor at my job for the first 2 months of the year. But if you wait with me, there's a chance I'm going to figure this thing out through the rest of the year. I'd be fired, right, within the first month.
I'm not saying that's Taylor's fault. No. I'm trying to say whose fault is that?
That's got to be on the head coach. From a year-to-year basis, if it continues to happen under the same guy with changing rosters, there is a constant fear.
All right, but hear me out.
I think it's on Taylor.
One thing we haven't addressed, though, is Burrow's health coming into the season hasn't been ideal over the past couple seasons. This time around, he was fine. But in previous years, 2 of those 3 0-2 starts, his health was shaky coming into the season. He had that calf injury a year or 2 ago. Another injury that I can't remember. But that needs to be, talked about.
Yeah, the injury, there's nothing you could do about the injury, but still, if the whole team is starting out slow and we know this to be a thing, I think the head coach needs some sort of blame.
I can't say hot seat yet. Yes, if things continue to go the way they're going,
they lose on Sunday to the Giants.
Should not.
A must-win game, not the greatest home field advantage.
I mean, what do we mean by hot seat? Do we mean now or end of the season? Zach, it's been nice.
I don't know. I don't know. I think we're getting too soft with the fire. We got to start firing more head coaches. Middle of the year.
I think we got to chill.
Middle of the year, people need to start losing their jobs.
No,
that's what needs to happen. You know what needs to happen? Somebody on this staff needs to lose their job. We'll move to London here. The Jets and the Vikings. The Vikings are 5-0. We'll start with the positive.
Yeah.
The Vikings are 5-0. Darnold didn't play well. The offense overall didn't play well. Although I think they got a little bailed here with Jones going down. Didn't seem like they could stop Jones. Jones was really popping out a lot of yards on every carry. So either way, the defense for the Jets plays well. Darnold plays the worst game he's played all year, and yet the Jets find a way to lose.
Yeah, defense did everything they needed to do and then some. I mean, the Jets lose 23-17 and they give up 16 points defensively. The pick 6 from Van Ginkel is ultimately what gave them the win. Mike, I mean, the offense for this Jets team, those are the serious concerns right now. The running game. I mean, they had 30 rushing yards yesterday. I mean, you're not going to be able to win the NFL, especially in today's NFL where running is just seeming to get more and more important as the years go on. If you can't run the football, your offense becomes very predictable, and it's not like your quarterback can add to the rushing aspect.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you're stuck, and you're especially in an offense where we're worried about the offensive coordinator lacking creativity. We're worried about the quarterback's chemistry with his wide receivers. You put them in a situation where they're limited play calling wise to one aspect of the game, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I think a lot of these issues are coaching. I think a couple of things are on the field as well. The offensive line has not played well.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%. They can't get a push.
they're not getting, and I think more in the run game, because I think there's a stat going around, and you'd have to confirm this for me, that he actually has the most time to throw. Is that true? I heard this twice now today.
I don't know.
That Rodgers has the most time when he passes to throw the ball.
I know he's towards the top of the league in snap to throw time. I know he's getting the ball out very quick with the highest rate of the league.
But either way, you could tell the offensive line is not playing well.
Yeah.
It's a throw-together offensive line, good players, throwing them together. It hasn't worked as of right now. As of August, October 7th, it hasn't worked.
It did for 3 games, and then the past 2 games it's been bad.
It is another issue I think they have on the field is Lazard dropping big passes.
Yeah,
he's made big plays, but he's also dropped a ton of passes. The drop yesterday,
multiple.
He had a really bad drop right near the sideline.
Yep.
The play before the pick six.
Yep.
It's like a 20-yarder, but a first down, and I think it was a 3rd and long or something like that, or 2nd and long. Drops it. Next play, pick six.
Yep. And then the play in the end zone, the back shoulder throw, that was not the easiest catch in the world, but a catchable ball, a very nicely thrown ball by Rodgers. And, it hits him in the hands.
There was another.
And he drops.
There was another one going, running along the sideline, and it was late in the game. And
it hit him right
literally.
in the right hand.
It was a tough catch, but it was a perfect ball, and it hit him
over the
right
shoulder,
in the hands.
Hit him right in the hands. Yep.
It was a perfect ball from Rodgers.
Yeah,
Rodgers
listen, I'm usually not the one in the sport of football, especially, to be like, go make the fantasy football move, right? Go do the Madden trade and just trade for, the best skill position player in the league. But all signs are pointing to they really need Adams. I mean, with the style that Rodgers wants to play in now of, okay, well, I'm just going to play chemistry ball and throw back shoulders and, throw perfectly timed routes and everything like that. Because we can't scheme guys open, or he doesn't want to. He also doesn't really look like he wants to throw over the middle of the field, which was his problem in Green Bay his last season. It looks like that's continuing.
Yeah,
he's throwing outside the numbers a lot right now. They need him. They really do need Davante Adams.
Yeah, I was actually just literally thinking about what that would be like, because I have him in fantasy.
Yeah,
what that connection would be like the last time they played together. I mean, he was the best wide receiver in football. So.
Yeah.
I think it's sad they need him. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's sad that they need Adams to come in and fix this thing. But I think you are right. I want to say this. I think you and I and the smart football fan kind of knew what the Jets were getting into with Rodgers in terms of he's older and he's not at a point where he can mask every single one of your problems.
Right.
But I don't, and like there's obviously gonna be problems on every football team. And he can mask some of them, but not all of them. And I just think there's so many issues right now with this team that at the moment he can't play Superman. He can't do it. And it's almost like he's trying to force things. And like, I can't remember the last time Aaron Rodgers threw 3 interceptions in a football game.
Neither.
I can't.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know if he's trying to do too much. His body language on the field is not great.
Yeah.
I don't like that. But this is the situation you're in, and you joked about it before. And we'll say it again. They're going to play for first place on Monday night against the Bills in a game that they usually win.
Yeah, I mean, there's zero cohesion on the offense right now. I mean, there's no chemistry whatsoever. They can't get the push going. We could talk about the play calling from Hackett. I don't know why Rodgers is so in love with him. I also think it's lazy to just be like, oh, Hackett is the problem. At the end of the day, the guys on the field need to make plays.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, bringing Adams in, I don't know who the odd man out would be. I don't know if they would trade Mike Williams. I don't know if Lazard would be involved. Garrett Wilson theories is absolutely insane.
What?
That they're going to trade Garrett Wilson in return for Davante Adams. That would be the worst trade of all time.
Yeah.
But they need to get this running game going, and they need to get Rodgers going. I mean, he proved to you on that Thursday night game against New England that he can still zip the ball, right? Mm-hmm. And he showed some mobility, and, you know, it wasn't anything crazy, right? But you saw, and he even showed it yesterday, he still got that pocket awareness, that ability to escape, buy a little bit of time. We saw that great touchdown he threw to Lazard in the game in London. But they really need to do something to get this offense going. And I don't want to just put everything on the line and on Hackett and whatever, because we haven't talked about Rodgers actually did play bad also. Like, it's not like, oh, well, this happened, this, you know, yeah, sure, there were some drops, there was some bad blocking on certain plays, but, I mean, all three of those interceptions were just poorly thrown balls or bad decisions by Rodgers.
Yeah, no, he's got to figure it out. He's got to be better. Yeah. See what happens. Any concern for Sauce? I mean, you know, there was all those talks, you know, trash talks about him being handsy and he's holding guys. They weren't calling it, and, you know, earlier in his career, and now maybe that's a point of emphasis for the refs now. He's been called for a couple of them, a couple more than usual, and a couple of them yesterday.
No, there's no concern. One of the holding, I mean, you know, there was, I think, one or two that were the right call. They had that holding call with Sauce on Jalen Naylor. That was a terrible call at the goal line, just not a hold at all. They're throwing laundry all over the field. The Vikings literally knew. They were like, okay, so we're just going to throw go balls to Justin Jefferson because the refs are going to call it anyway. So he either catches it or we're going to get a penalty. Everybody saw the clips on Twitter of DJ Reed, who played the best game I've seen him play as a Jet.
Yeah, he was really good.
Amazing game. And unfortunately, the refs were hosing him all game. So no, I don't have concern for Sauce. Overall, this season, it's been his worst year as a pro so far. He hasn't been the typical shutdown Sauce Gardner. He has been in certain games, but not consistently. And DJ Reed's actually been their best corner so far this year, but DJ Reed's just also that good. So no, I'm not concerned for Sauce. I'm not really concerned for this defense. Their run defense played really well. You talked about Aaron Jones, you know, had a couple nice runs in the beginning, then he gets hurt. But before that, had a couple, you know, short runs as well. And then they just shut down the run game, and, you know, they did a really good job. They made Darnold look awful, which no team has been able to do so far. Yeah. So no concerns about the defense. They're at the top of the league in all the stats, advanced stats, and everything like that. So really like what I see out of them. But the offense is the aspect that's going to get this team going.
The defense is there. Reddick, not anywhere close, probably not going to happen at all. And Will McDonald's done a good job. Give him credit. There we go. All right, Mike, time to move to the good, the bad, and the ugly. Would you like to start? Give us your good.
I would like to start, Mike. My good, I believe I talked a lot about them last week, and I'll gladly talk about them again. The Washington Commanders and Jaden Daniels are my good. And I know Cleveland is trash, right? Let's just get that out of the way. Cleveland sucks. Really bad football team. Deshaun Watson, really bad football player. And that offense overall is just gross. But in the NFL, you play against other teams who are in the NFL, okay? So on any given Sunday, any team can beat any team, and we've seen that a lot, especially this season. For them to be coming out week after week and putting up the offensive output that they are, it is extremely impressive. Their defense even has looked better recently. I know they did just play Cleveland, but as I just said, you're in the NFL. If you have a good day, you have a good day.
Did a good job against Arizona, who just beat San Francisco.
Yep, exactly. So, and Arizona's defense played pretty well against San Francisco, forced a couple of turnovers. They weren't able to do that against the Commanders. They've been playing really good, efficient, clean football. You know, Cliff Kingsbury brings that whole college offense, and it's a pro offense now. Yeah. And the thing that's really impressed me about Jaden Daniels is, you know, coming out of college, there were concerns about his ability to throw over the middle, even throwing deep balls. We knew he had a good arm, but, you know, how's that going to translate to the NFL? Is he going to be able to throw the deep ball accurately? Already looks like one of the better deep ball throwers in the league. And his ability with his legs just adds another scary aspect to his game. He's just a really good player.
He's a great player. He played okay throwing the ball yesterday. Had that one big play to McLaurin. But he's only 14 of 25. They didn't have to do much yesterday, but he ran the ball very well. He had 82 yards. He had 11 carries. So, yeah, I mean, He's been unbelievable. He's a problem. The amount of people that have like texted me, like they know I'm a Giants fan, they're like, "Man, this Daniels is going to be a problem for you." I'm like, "Yeah, he will be. He definitely will be." And the team is playing well. Give them credit. This does feel like it does feel a lot like the time when, with RG3, like it really feels like that time where they come out of nowhere and they're having this very good year. And I have to say, as much as I don't really view this franchise as like, especially being a Giants fan, like I don't view them as a rival, and I don't really view them as much. It's just kind of like disrespecting them. They're kind of irrelevant.
It's facts.
It is interesting to see them playing well. Like I don't even like dislike it. I don't dislike them playing well. They're interesting.
Right.
And Daniels is really good. And I don't know how long this will last, but in terms of the keeping the coaches together and whatnot, and Daniels playing this well, but it's a fun ride right now to watch them. They're entertaining.
Well, they're going to have to get tested soon. I'm just looking up their schedule quick. Here you go, on the road against the Ravens this week. So that's going to be a really, really fun game to watch. 1 o'clock. Wish that was a primetime game.
They tried to get it. They tried to flex Giants Bengals out of that, and whoever, Fox or CBS, did not allow it. They could block it, and they didn't.
That's going to be a really, really fun game to watch too, of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the league going up against each other there. So that'll be a really good test for them going up against a great defense on the road. Yeah, Mike, I love the Commanders, man. Everything's looking real good over there.
Well, we'll stay in the NFC East for my good, JM, because my New York Football Giants went across the country. They are about to score a touchdown, and somehow, some way, they fumble at the half-yard line, and the Seahawks pick the ball up, run it back for 7. They review it. It actually stands, even though some angles showed that Eric Gray got in the end zone. So now you're down 7-0. You're thinking, how could this go more wrong? The Giants are terrible. It's a cursed franchise. And they somehow win a football game. And they dominated this football game. The score does not tell you. 29-20 does not tell you how much this team dominated this football game. They kept Seattle off the field. They sustained long drives. Their defense was all over Geno Smith. Dexter Lawrence, he's got to be... Dexter Lawrence is such a freak. And a defensive player of the year candidate for sure. He's one of the best non-quarterbacks in the league at this point. He's so dominant. And they're able to do this without their number 1 wide receiver and their starting running back. And let me just give you Daniel Jones' stats the past 4 games.
Go ahead, bro.
67.65 completion percentage, 952 yards, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception on a Hail Mary, and a 99.3 passer rating.
Everything good there.
He's playing well.
Looking good.
He's playing good football.
He's definitely playing well. The Giants I've been playing ethical offense without Malik Neighbors last week, especially. You talk about Tyrone Tracy at 129 rushing yards on 18 attempts is extremely impressive. Just to make you mad right now, I'll say a little bit of the Seahawks had to come back down to earth, so this doesn't surprise me at all. But
I think I think
discredit them.
I think I'm gonna tell you something. Yeah, with the baseball and whatnot, the Giants were really on the back burner. But when I knew these two guys weren't playing, I literally was like, the Giants don't exist this week,
right?
Because I did not think the Giants had, and this wasn't Seattle's so good. This was there's no way the Giants win this football game.
Right.
I really had no chance they were gonna win this game.
You got to thank the schedule makers for giving you a road game with the mini bye, though. That's very nice of them for going out to the West Coast. Be like, all right,
and
we'll give you a couple extra days to prepare. Shout out the NFL.
Yeah, it's big. That's a tough.
Not big fans of the Jets, though. Crazy schedule.
Well, you got the Monday night.
Crazy schedule. Monday night.
You got the extra day.
But then we're doing the whole, Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night thing again.
You're good.
It's great. Can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
You're good. Who's Thursday night?
Texans on Halloween at home.
Wow, that's a great game. That's a great game.
Yeah.
Not great in terms of
Why
scheduling for you guys.
Why do I feel like I'm actually missing a game in between?
Maybe the Steelers.
Patriots, my bad.
It's Patriots Thursday night.
Patriots are Sunday, so it's Bills, Steelers, Patriots, Texans. So it's Monday night, Sunday, Thursday night.
Interesting.
Anyways, but not to make this about the Jets.
The Giants. Yeah. Right now,
they look great. Daboll is doing a good job having this offense looking smooth. The offensive line has been playing better.
They're I don't know where they rank.
Yeah,
PFF. They've been playing very good.
Yeah,
very good.
And you could that's why Daboll, he's a great offensive coach, because you could see that the Giants have sort of adjusted their play style. They're honestly, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't really watch too much of the game yesterday. I was watching Red Zone, so I didn't see a lot of Giants until like the end, and obviously saw the big fumble. But the Dallas game, they were playing a lot of 2022 style Giants football of, okay, taking the easy plays, taking the short plays, playing efficiently in the passing game. And it seems like they've been continuing to do that.
Yeah, Jones hit a couple of big shots yesterday.
A big play to Slayton.
He had a couple of big plays to Slayton. So, I mean, he was pushing the ball downfield, but they just did. I mean, everything was open for him. I mean, it was interesting. Everything was open for him.
My bad. The Buffalo Bills losing in Houston. And if things just went normally here, you look at the score 23-20. All right, what's the big deal? Why is this bad? Texans are a great team. Totally get it. It wasn't until I saw the awful, maybe worst coaching decision I've seen in a while than what Sean McDermott did. Okay? First of all, Josh Allen going 9 for 30 is not a good look for coaching staff, for Josh Allen, for anybody. 9 for 30 is insane.
I almost want to blame the coaching for allowing that to happen.
I don't know how that happens. Shakir was out. Obviously, Stephon Diggs is on the other team they are playing. So the weapons weren't exactly great for Allen, but still, what are we doing?
Yep.
Rasheed Rice out for the year, by the way.
Tough.
You get the ball back with 26 seconds, 28 seconds, I believe, on your own, 8-yard line with no timeouts. You're the Buffalo Bills. It's a tie game. Any logical coach or fan of football would tell you, run the ball, go to overtime. The Buffalo Bills decide, you know what? We have an elite quarterback. We're going to try to get down the field here and get into field goal range, which, by the way, they don't have, Sebastian Janikowski. Tyler Bass is a good NFL kicker, but he doesn't have 73-yard field goal range. So you got a while to go, and they still decide to do it. They throw 3 incomplete passes in a row, end up having to punt back to the Texans. The Texans get a pretty decent return. They got 7 seconds left on the clock, 3 timeouts. They throw a quick hitter, called timeout. Kaimi Fairbairn hits the game-winning field goal. If you would have just ran it 3 times, either the Texans would have said, all right, let it go to overtime, or they would have used all 3 timeouts. Now you got to punt the ball back. Texans have to throw to the sidelines. They can't throw that little quick hitter in the middle of the field and call a timeout. They got to throw to the sidelines. It makes it tougher for them to throw to the sidelines. You know they have to throw to the sidelines. If they hit anything in the middle of the field, time runs out, overtime. But no, the Bills decide, let's be idiots for whatever reason, and go for it. It was one of the worst coaching decisions I've seen in a really long time, and I mean, that loss is on Sean McDermott.
It's on Sean McDermott. It makes you ask the question that are they going to waste Josh Allen and his talent with such a bozo at head coach? Because this isn't the first time we've seen these crazy coaching decisions. We understand McDermott's not calling the plays, but he's got to shoot that down when he hears that coming from the headset from his offensive coordinator. It's disgusting. It's coaching malpractice, and they legitimately, by the way, you look at how bad Allen played, you look at how CJ Stroud played in the game, and you're like, you had a chance to win that football game. It's honestly impressive that they played so poorly that they were in that game and should have been in overtime, and instead they literally said, you know what, here's a gift, Houston, we're going to give you the game in regulation instead. Poor job by McDermott and the Bills.
By the way, my bad. Read the tweet way too fast. Rasheed Rice, there's actually a lot of optimism that his season is not over. Yeah.
Wow, very nice. Big boost for the Chiefs.
Read this tweet. Ian Rappaport, while Chiefs star Rasheed Rice's season is expected to be over, he did receive positive news today. Rice needs his LCL repair, but there's a chance that's the only ligament to be repaired. He's expected to make a full recovery.
How do they not know?
I'm not sure
exactly what the problem is.
There's any doctors around that could tell us what the hell that means, but yeah.
How do they not know exactly what the issue is?
Not sure. You're up.
I'm up with my bad. Yeah, Jam, not a lot of bad for me yesterday. So this might sound like a reach. I just want to kind of have the conversation. What's going on with Love? Like Jordan Love? Love. No, like Love. You know.
Yeah.
Jordan Love. That's one of the worst interceptions I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah.
Are the turnovers a problem? Is he a slow starter? Is this going to be a thing? And I understand the injury adds to it. And I'm a big Jordan Love guy. But I just want to ask these questions. That play alone is good enough for the bad label.
I'm gonna give him a little bit of slack, and I think you're reaching a little here, trying to put on your little ESPN hat. He's trying to avoid a safety there. It was a very stupid throw. He should have never done it. Shouldn't have taken safety 100%. He shouldn't have let it get to that point.
He should have just taken the safety.
Or he should have taken the safety, yeah. But, I mean, still ended up with 2 touchdowns and a 95 passer rating and leading the team to a win. So I'm not gonna overreact about Jordan Love. Yes, he was injured. He's coming off the injury. It's still his second year as a starter.
Yes.
Like, let's give this guy a little bit.
I wonder
if
this is going to become a thing though going forward. Again, we know about the start last season. It was his first year starting. Now, first year with the big new contract.
Right. Is this guy just a slow starter?
Is he going to be a slow starter?
Yeah, who knows?
Because again, I wouldn't sell my stock on him. I would buy the stock.
Yeah,
but
who knows?
I'm asking the questions.
I mean, with such a small sample size, the guy started 20 games in his NFL career. It's his second season being a full starter. We can make assumptions of, is he a slow starter, to every season? But it's his second year. I'm not going to give you too much attention on that one.
There we go. Yeah. Alrighty. You're ugly.
My ugly. Got a lot of ugliness about this football team. I got the Oakland Raiders.
You do this all the time with the Oakland Raiders.
They should have never left Oakland. That's why. That's actually so not true. They're doing so much better in Las Vegas. That stadium is sick, and it's the only thing keeping their franchise from not being a joke. The Las Vegas Raiders losing by 16 points to division rival Denver Broncos, who I should have taken as my 3-star. And after the show, I thought
I bet them big
actually put them as my 3-star. But Saints are covering, so it's all good. This Antonio Pierce guy, I really can't do it anymore. The whole fake hard, and I don't know, it's not even fake. The whole hardo act, right, is just lame. I get it. We're the Raiders. We're the big bad Raiders. We're this historic team, tough football team. Okay. At the end of the day, you suck. Okay. And nobody fears you. They're awful. You're losing to a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix by 34 points in the divisional game. You're giving up 34 points. You're losing by multiple scores. You're throwing pick sixes. You're replacing your quarterback in the middle of the game, which, Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. Yeah, that's real great. I'm just really tired of this whole Raiders talk, okay? He says, play like a Raider, and people made business decisions, and this and that. And, Max Crosby's coming out saying, would I want to be anywhere else? This is all about how you respond. Enough, okay? It's not about how you respond. You suck. Their team sucks. Let's stop acting, we're going to keep this tough mentality. I'd die for Antonio Pierce. I'd put it on the line for that guy. He was a former player. Enough, okay? He could give all the rah-rah speeches he wants. He doesn't know how to run a football team. This team is bad. Things are about to get worse. You have the trade rumors with Devontae Adams. That offense is actually incompetent when he's not on the field. Brock Bowers is the only thing that is worth watching when it comes to that offense. Just all bad for the Las Vegas Raiders.
So you literally just stole my hate club. I didn't think you would hit every point and I would be able to use some, but you just stole my hate club for this week. So now I got to think of something else on the fly. But yeah, JM, you hit on everything. I can't agree with you more. Also, Bowers, great player. Do we need to spend a first-round pick on him with all the issues this team has?
Remember, this is a great point. We talked about that on draft day. Is drafting a tight end for a team that doesn't have a quarterback the best thing to do?
What are we doing? But Pierce is a clown. The second they made him head coach, I thought it was a bad decision. I didn't really understand what he was saying. People are making business decisions. We're going to have to make them too. Shut your mouth and coach your team and talk privately.
Also, I don't want my coach acting like a 14-year-old girl on Instagram and liking pictures of the caption of Devontae Adams wants to be traded.
Yeah.
Like,
Obviously,
and that's crazy to me, because why, when you're the head coach and you're the guy who the media is going to come to and ask questions about, and you lead the team and you don't want any drama in your building, why would you possibly want to stir something up?
Yeah, it does. It doesn't.
It makes zero sense.
It doesn't make much sense. He's a clown, JM. We knew this. We knew this was a bad hire, and now they got to face the consequences. I mean, it's a relatively short contract, so they'll be able to get out of it and things like that. But it's a mess right now. See what happened in the baseball game? See what happened? I did. That's crazy.
I did.
All right, my ugly. It's more on the Steelers than anything else, but the overall game starts at 10 o'clock, doesn't end till 1. After 1, it was just very, it was the longest day of football ever, 15 hours and 47 minutes. I saw tweeted this morning. So it was an interesting start. I went to bed right out of halftime. I was really tired last night. Went to bed right after halftime. It was a weird feeling to wake up and actually have to check the score of a football game, because usually it's like, oh, I'm up.
Yeah.
It was a little weird, but Fields was awful on this one. I mean, it was an ugly game. Dak threw a couple of bad interceptions. Dak's stat line looks great. I don't think he played as well as the stat line showed.
Nice throw to end the game, though.
Yes, and to win it for them. That's a must-win game for them. I didn't think they'd do it. They do it. But Fields was awful in this game. Had a really bad fumble as well. It was just like, yep, that's a Justin Fields we know. Yep. So an ugly, ugly football game. It started out ugly with the bad weather. It ends ugly. Just sloppy football, and
gross
football. It was a bad Sunday night game.
Gross football. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are very prone to gross football.
That's it. I think we're good. I think
we're good.
The Steeler terrorism might be out here.
Yep, we're back down to earth here.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah, we're 3-2. We're back down to earth.
They might miss the playoffs.
Yeah, now the Russell Wilson, should he be starting conversation starting up again? So all is balanced in the world.
Thank God. Thank God.
So it's hate club time.
Yeah, you got to go first, because I got to think going on the fly.
It's all right, bro. I mean, we're up against the clock here, so it's all good if you don't got one. But Mike, real excited to talk about this, because this is just something that's really pissing me off. So, like you, I went to bed last night and did not watch the Steelers game. And I wake up this morning, oh, cool, Cowboys won. Let me see some of the highlights, whatever. I'm scrolling Twitter. And then I come across perhaps the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. And it is George Pickens with eye black on his head, on his face. George Pickens with eye black on his face. And it says, open effing always. First of all, if we're going to put something on our face, can we have proper grammar, please? Because it should be always effing open, not open effing always. That's besides the point. I am sick and tired of these wide receivers that are mid acting like they are superstar wide receivers. Can we please put to bed the diva wide receivers that are not true, okay, hey guys, we're playing this guy this week. Let's make sure we put our number one guy on him. Like, does anyone really say that for George Pickens? Does anybody say that for Romeo Doubs, who got suspended a game because he's frustrated about his role? Did anybody say that for the Carolina Panthers 2 years ago when Robbie Chosen, whatever the hell his name was, decided, oh, I'm going to complain about the targets I'm getting with Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold. Like, enough is enough. Stop acting like you're Jerry Rice. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too emotional about this, but it's actually pathetic.
Yeah,
Well, who are you, George Pickens? Like, who the hell are you to be putting that up and getting in fights and just acting like an idiot?
He's been overrated most of his career. He's made a couple of big plays, but most of the career he's been overrated. It's you don't expect it from a Mike Tomlin-led team either.
No.
That's the thing. Like, you would think Tomlin has these guys in check, and he doesn't. So go get your boy, Mike, because that's not professional. That's not the way the Steeler organization, which is a very proud organization, I'm sure they don't like to be seen in that way. Not a good situation over there in Pittsburgh. I think it's really going to start to crumble here. I think we were right on the Steelers earlier in the year.
Yeah.
I think we were right.
Of course we were.
Maybe they make the switch to my guy Wilson and everything changes.
Yeah, your guy. You got to stop with that.
Russ and my Broncos. All right, JM, I found a hate club. Okay,
Go ahead, bro.
Let's put the New England Patriots in the hate club. Okay, eventually Drake May has to start, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like eventually this has to happen.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I would do it yet. I don't know if I want to put Drake May, the franchise's future, in harm's way the way they're going to do here. Brissett has been banged up all season long, due in part to a terrible offensive line. They have no weapons on the outside. They have a running game sometimes. I don't know if I would do this to Drake May. I don't want to stunt the development of this kid. And he's just in such a crap situation over there in New England in terms of the coaching and not having a great offensive coordinator and not having weapons. I don't know if he's going to be able to survive the mess that is the Patriots right now. And I would just say, hey, again, he's got to start at some point this year. I understand that. But I don't think week 6 is the way to go.
Yeah, maybe not yet. And I totally agree with you. I think at some point this year they are going to have to play him. Maybe towards the end of the year when they're already eliminated, sort of a thing. But for right now, no. You're not going to play him, put him in harm's way, risk any sort of injury, risk hurting his confidence and everything like that. But I would like to see. I'm all for not throwing these quarterbacks into the fire, and it's the argument that goes on year after year of, okay, well, what's better, the mental reps and letting them learn and keep their confidence, or throwing them out there and learning as they go and worrying about them getting down on themselves in the beginning. And we're seeing it with Caleb Williams right now. Week after week, his passer rating is rising and rising.
Mm-hmm.
But I would wait till the end of the season, maybe 4 games left to put this guy in.
Get him going, just not now.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, JM, overreaction time before we get out of here.
Yeah, my overreaction is that the Buffalo Bills need to trade for Devontae Adams or some sort of real threat at wide receiver, because, okay, it was cute for the first couple of weeks. Yeah, it's nice not having guys that demand the ball like Josh Allen said and everything like that. But what we saw is if things are breaking down in the running game and you need Josh Allen to throw the ball down the field consistently and not just, run, play off of play action. And I'm not saying Josh Allen's like, some bailed system quarterback that only throws to wide open receivers. He's obviously otherworldly talented, but they are lacking that true feared weapon on the outside. And we thought that maybe Dalton Kincaid was going to be that guy that was going to get consistent targets from Allen and maybe sort of develop a Kelsey Mahomes light relationship with Allen. That is not happening. Keon Coleman was a first-round pick, viewed as more of a project wide receiver, caught a 49-yard touchdown in the game on Sunday, was his only catch. And he's been doing that a couple of games where he just gets one ball, scores a touchdown, and he's not to be seen the rest of the game. So I think they need a legit weapon on the outside, and I think they need it before the trade deadline, because all of a sudden the Bills' stock is going downhill.
Yeah, the receivers worry me a little bit. They were without Shakir on Sunday. I'm a little worried about the receivers with the Bills. I think there's just a lack of talent there, although the first few weeks it looked like they were getting able to get by. Doesn't look like that right now. I don't know if they need an Adams, but maybe they need to add just something to that room. Mm-hmm. My overreaction is a true overreaction. I mean,
like crazy
overreaction, and it has something to do with the Bills. They need Josh Allen to get on the phone and call Bill Belichick and ask him if he will come and coach this team, fire Sean McDermott, and get Belichick to Buffalo to make sure that we don't waste Josh Allen's talented career. Get on the phone, Josh. Call your boy Bill. Say, hey, I just saw a house over here that I really think you'd like. I think you should come coach for us. And fire Sean McDermott. This clown cannot go on any longer. Get Belichick to Buffalo.
Yeah, so holy crap, that was a nuclear overreaction. What would we say the odds of that happening are? Plus
Very low.
1 million?
Well,
Yeah,
high,
yeah,
high,
yeah, yeah. No,
Chance
very
is
low
very
odds.
low.
Yeah.
High odds.
Mike, bro, are you good? Did you?
That scares you. That
you drink-
scares you
Did
as
you
a Jets
drink
fan.
before this podcast?
That scares you as a Jets fan.
That doesn't scare me. That's insane talk.
They
Like
need
you, like obviously the segment is called overreactions for a reason.
Overreaction.
But you don't just like throw out like my overreaction would could be like the I don't know the Ravens should put Lamar Jackson at wide receiver, like just something funny. But like this is something
This
that
is
like
serious.
in the back of your mind, like you.
I would
this.
make a change. I would make a change at head coach. I mean, I would
In the middle of the season.
in mid-season.
You see,
I think this is a
this
team.
is like the third time on this show that you have said a team should fire their coach in the middle of the season.
I think this team could sustain firing the coach. Now, I just gave you a suggestion on who to bring in.
Yeah.
Whether that is doable or not. If
Okay.
you have any other suggestions,
Okay.
that's
what
fine.
What about they fire him and then like it's like a player coaches, like Josh Allen's the new head coach of the Buffalo
I
Bills.
think he could do a better job.
And he's
than
like,
Sean.
all right, guys, we're just gonna run 4 verticals and
No,
read options
no,
all
no,
day
no, no.
and
We're
have
still-
fun.
Joe Brady can still call the plays.
You know what? Everybody get open now that I think about it.
Joe Brady can still call the plays.
Why not
That's
just
fine.
fire the whole coaching staff? No coaches.
No. You need Joe Brady and Bab, whatever his name is.
That's an
Babchick,
overreaction,
Babchick.
bro. That is
That's
certainly an
the
overreaction.
definition of an
and
overreaction.
after what I saw out of Sean McDermott on Sunday, that was a fireable offense.
I think Bills
They
fans
should not fire him in the middle of the season. And Bill Belichick coming in is certainly insane.
I think the Bill fans would be very happy
Yeah.
with my suggestion there.
Yeah.
I think the Bill fans would really like that.
Yeah, maybe in the offseason.
If you ask the Bill fans what they think of that, I bet you
Maybe-
90% of them say that's a good idea,
Maybe
Michael.
in the offseason.
They should start a petition right now. The Bills fans should just start something.
I don't know if the Bills would care about that petition.
No, the Bills fans.
Yeah, but I don't know if the Bills themselves would care about reading that petition and being like, oh, it got 50,000 signatures. You're out, Sean.
You never know. They're a very close-knit group
Yeah.
over there in Buffalo, you know? Different relationships and whatnot.
Okay. That's a good way to go out.
Yes, that's a great way to end this episode. Episode 145 in the books. Make sure you're checking out our social media. Gambling show later in the week. I don't know which day because of Mets playoff and Yankee playoff games. So we'll get that out when we know. And let's go Yankees tonight, Mike.
go
Big game
Yankees,
for the
baby.
Yanks.
Let's go
And
Yanks.
we'll talk to you guys next time.